What in the bird box is going on now, man? Did Tupac think he was a gangster? According to Michael J. White, the answer is yes. Tupac thought he was a gangster and wasn't living his truth.
If you deviate from the truth, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
This brother was not living the truth. Wasn't living who he was. And when it comes down to it, if you're not authentic, you're not who you are, you're going to pay for it.
So was Martin Luther King not who he said he was because he paid for it? Was Malcolm X not who he said he was because he paid for it? Was Fred Hampton not living his truth because he paid for it? Or is it simply this? Sometimes things happen in life because the decisions we make in life, good or bad. But Michael says Tupac wasn't the gangster. And to that, I say, I agree.
You got to hold up this lie. And I believe that's the lie that took him out of here. Because I got to behave like a gangster.
But there's also someone else who says Tupac wasn't a gangster. Tupac.
I'm just saying, for the record, I do not believe that I'm a gangster. I do not believe that. I created my own, because I didn't want people to get me mixed up with gangsters. That's why I started saying I'm a thug. Because to me, the gangsters is different. I'm a thug. I'm just a regular old, and thugs is not Superman. We ain't special. We just brothers who fight back. You know, we're not the ones that steal your purse. We're not dudes that steal your car. We don't do carjackings. I'm not for that. I'm not with people who steal and do all that shit. Nigga, get paid. I'm with those niggas. The niggas that get paid. Them little tiny young niggas who be dropping brand new cars. You be like, I know that nigga ain't got a job. I'm with that, because that takes talent. He a young CEO.
You see, people often say Tupac wasn't a gangster. Well, there's one problem with that. He never thought he was. And then there are people who say Tupac never showed his sensitive side. He always kept up this hardcore attitude. To that I say, that's a lie. In an interview with Vibe magazine, while Tupac was in jail, now mind you, this interview is going out to millions. They asked him, who did you study for your musical influence? Now mind you could say Ice Cube, Ice-T, NWA, anybody hardcore, right? But that's not what he did. Instead, he told his truth. Instead, he said, I like Les Miserables, Gospel, Clones, and I love Shakespeare. Oh my God, the thuggery. So then you say, Tupac never showed any fear. He always had to act like he was hard, like he never feared anything. Because, you know, he got to keep up with the act, since we all think he's a hardcore, vicious gangster. Here's Tupac talking about the situation in 1994. They left him in the hospital. I can't say certain words, because y'all know, I got to respect the apps that we own. The light-skinned dude is yelling, shoot that dude, Elfit. Then I got scared. So you say, big deal, Trey. Anybody would cry when a coil ray pointed to their stomach. Anybody would show fear. A coil ray is this thing right here, just for the new people that don't understand my lingo. Here's Tupac explaining why he didn't drop to the floor as he was being robbed, like everyone else did. But I just froze up. It wasn't like I was being brave or nothing. I just could not get to the floor. Now here's Tupac talking about the night of him and Ayanna Jackson, the night that landed him in jail for SA. Here's Tupac talking about the fear he had because he didn't want no harm to come to him. Not her, him. Hooked on phonics, don't fail me now. I don't know if she's with these dudes or if she's mad at me for not protecting her, but I know I feel ashamed because I wanted to be accepted and because I didn't want no harm to be done to me. I didn't say nothing. You know how hard it is to admit to millions that you're afraid of these gangsters when you're a gangster rapper? Oh, but he's still in character because he said, get this bitch out of my room.
The story is consistent that, you know, when the guys came in the room, he walked out of the room, right? And he went into the living room of the hotel and went to sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
Now, she woke him up screaming like, yo, how could you let this happen? How could you let this happen? How could you let this happen?
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, I remember me and Man were talking about this. I said, if at that moment, if Tupac had said, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to you. Let's go in the back and let me try to make this right. Let me calm you down. Let me apologize. Let me kick those guys out. Let me maybe, I don't know, take you out to lunch, take you shopping, do whatever it takes to just calm her down. I said, if that had happened, would all of this have gone away? And Man said, absolutely. Absolutely. But do you know what actually happened?
He stayed in character, bro.
He said, get this bitch out of here.
Because when it comes to Tupac, we can't just say that he was nervous and said things he shouldn't have said at certain times. Here's Tupac explaining how hurt he was that people thought he was acting. The number one thing that bothered me was that dude that wrote that stuff that said I pretended to do it, that I set it up. It was an act. When I read that, I started crying like a baby, like a bitch. I could not believe it. That just tore me apart. Tupac was a flawed human being, just like we all are. And sometimes we make stupid decisions. And he made stupid decisions at times. Vlad said he wouldn't have handled the situation like Tupac did. Vlad said he would have been more nurturing, more caring. He would have tried to calm her down so she didn't go to the police.
I said, if at that moment, if Tupac had said, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to you. Let's go in the back and let me try to make this right. Let me calm you down. Let me apologize. Let me kick those guys out. Let me maybe, I don't know, take you out to lunch, take you shopping, do whatever it takes to just calm her down. I said, if that had happened, would all of this have gone away? And Man said, absolutely.
Well, how old is Vlad? Let's go see. 49. That's 24 years more than Tupac. So I hope he would have handled it differently. And Michael Jai White is 55, looking back on the guy who was 25 30 years later and saying he was fake when he could have said this to him when he was alive. But let's see how long DJ Vlad has been DJ Vlad. Let's see how long he's been famous. Vlad has been active since 2006. But maybe Vlad was the same age as Tupac when he started. Maybe he didn't know what he knows now at that start. Vlad was 33 when he started. That's 8 more years than Tupac got. Tupac made his solo debut at 20. So you want to hear Tupac say he's not a gangster with audio. I got you.
I'm just saying, for the record, I do not believe that I'm a gangster. I do not believe that. I created my own, because I didn't want people to get me mixed up with gangsters. That's why I started saying I'm a thug.
And Tupac didn't just tell us once. No, he told us multiple times.
Sir, Mr. Shakur, I'm Scott Rappaport from Inside Edition, sir. I'd like to talk to you about the gangster rap controversy, if I may. I'm not a gangster rapper.
And let's hear one more, because, I would hate for Tupac not to live his truth, because this guy knows Tupac's truth.
I ain't a bad boy, Mr. Boy, you had it bad.
They want me, when they first see me, to humble myself. They want me to be like this and da-da-da, just because they're scared of me. But I don't feel like that's my job, to humble myself, to show you that I'm not a threat. I'm not a threat, unless you're a threat to me. You know what I'm saying? So when people say, when you meet Pac, he's different than he is, because when somebody one-on-one, anybody one-on-one, I believe, honestly, that I can talk. I believe that I have the ability to reason, I have logic, I have compassion, I have understanding. If we talk, there's no problems. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what happens. People use what they heard in the media, and that's how they come at me.
Just because Tupac wasn't living the way you wanted him to live, doesn't mean he wasn't living his truth. And just because you didn't pay attention to his sensitive side, his love for theater, and his tears, doesn't mean he didn't cry. You just didn't want to listen. So when people say Tupac wasn't a gangster, you're right. And he clearly knew that. You see, Tupac didn't die because he wanted to be a gangster. He died because of his loyalty. Tupac wanted to be accepted, but he didn't want to be accepted as gangster. He wanted to be accepted as a friend. Because if you're on the move as much as Tupac's mother was, you never really get to find a core friend group, because you're always moving. And by the time you start making friends, you get rich and famous. And well, you don't know if they're your real friends, but you're happy. Then he goes to jail and loses most of his friends because, well, he's broke now. Then Suge Knight comes along and treats you like a family member that you never felt like you had. So you feel loyalty. Then you do something because of friendship, and you think you're doing the right thing. And then your life gets taken away from you because you made a mistake. You don't get to learn what Vlad learned. You don't get to learn what Michael learned. Nope, you forever stuck at 25. While people comment on stuff you did 30 years ago. Because you didn't act the way you did at 17 years old. For the rest of your life. You're supposed to act like you were 17 years old. Because life experiences can't make you more mad, can't make you more bitter, can't make you more angry. Nope, you're a robot. You must be the same way at all times. That means 17 years old all the time. I don't mean no disrespect towards Michael or Vlad TV. I just get tired of people saying Tupac wanted to be a gangster when he clearly kept saying, I'm not a gangster. Y'all keep projecting what y'all seen him as, not what he's seen himself as.
When I was hearing about who was the most dangerous rapper, it was always Snoop, and when it wasn't me, it was Snoop, and I was like, damn, we on the same record label. I know these people are really thinking like we are like the Antichrist. And I remember being in the studio and it'd be me and Snoop, and he had his son in there, and I was in there, and just being out of jail, you know, still having the emotional responses that somebody has when he just got out of jail for a year for a crime they commit. And he in there fighting a trial for murder. We in there with kids and just all our dreams in front of us, all our hopes in front of us, and doing that song was like irony. You know what I mean? Because it was like, in the song, we the big bad guys, but in real life, I mean, this dude a daddy. I mean, a doting daddy, like a pushover daddy. You know what I mean? And I'm just me, you know what I mean? So it's like, when they look at us, it's like they look at us like two different people. So that's why Two of America's Most Wanted, although it is frighteningly true, it's really just like a joke.